Your baseline glucose level can gradually rise or gradually lower, and which direction it goes largely depends on you. Here is an individual who says, I was diagnosed with diabetes in June, had an A1C of 6.5, which is just at the edge of diabetes. She says, or he says, I don't know if it's a he or a she, but they say, I know it's relatively low and just over the diabetic line at a level nowhere near what other diabetics have, but I still qualified as a diabetic. My doctor put me on metformin at 27 years old. To me, that's strange that if he's just 6.5, the doctor wouldn't give him a chance to try to beat the thing with diet and cutting the carbs, but he didn't. One of the other shocking thing is this person's just 27, and that's sad. Used to be type 2 diabetes was something you got when you were in your 50s or 60s. Or maybe even 70s. But now we're hearing of it hitting people younger and younger and younger. 27, not good. At first, I didn't try to change much, but in September, I got very serious about a low-carb, a low-sugar diet. I stopped taking the metformin. I got my lab results yesterday, and my A1C levels are at, drum roll please, 5.2. 5.2, 6.5 to 5.2. Tremendous progress, tremendous results. 6.5 diabetic, 5.2 not even close to diabetic, 5.2 very close to normal. Normal would probably be in the upper 4s, but 5.2 ain't bad at all. My doctor was shocked that I did it without meds. Thank you, he says to me, for the content you put up. It really has helped out. Well, I thank God for this young man or young lady, 27 years old, and was just at the border of diabetes. And that's a border you want to stay away from. But now down to 5.2. If you get diabetes that young, you really need to take it serious. Everybody does anyway, but you especially need to take it serious, because if you're diabetic at age 27, what do you suppose you'll be at age 37 if you keep going the way you're going? Or how about age 47 or 57? If you're already diabetic in your 20s, by the time you're in your 50s and 60s, you will be having a world of problems. You'll be in all kinds of issues if you keep going the way you're going. But of course, you don't have to keep going the way you're going, and this individual didn't, and they saw victory. And I can tell they are thrilled, and I'm thrilled for them. And that is the wonderful thing, that nearly every type 2 diabetic can see this kind of a victory. And really, type 1s can see the victory. You say, well, how can that be? They have to take insulin. Well, sure, they do. But they can still keep their carbs low and keep everything under control and stay away from the diabetic complications. And that, my friend, is the name of the game. If you're a type 1 and you have to take insulin, then by all means take insulin. But don't take more insulin than you have to. And type 1 diabetics can slash their insulin levels much lower than many of them are at. So read Dr. Richard Bernstein's books and watch some of his videos. He'll help you out. I'm no expert on type 1, but I respect Dr. Bernstein and love what he has to say about it. Here's an individual who says, what if we include our snacks as part of our meal instead? In other words, instead of having a snack in between meals, how about if we just tack on a snack to the end of our meal or as part of our meal? They said, would that still have an effect? And my answer is, well, that's exactly what you do need to do. And that's what I do. Whether we're talking a snack or a dessert, what you don't want to do is have your meal at, say, 5:30 p.m., have your dinner meal at 5:30, and then wait about 3 hours, and then have your dessert or have a snack at 9, because your blood sugar never has a chance to come down and stay at base level. What you want to do by all means is spend as much time as you can at your baseline level. So you got to eat, obviously, so we're not suggesting you don't eat. But if you're just eating a couple of meals a day and maybe having some bulletproof coffee instead of a regular breakfast, and then your first real meal where you're eating the kind of food you have to chew comes at 12:30 or so, then what you want to do is eat the meal, make sure it's low carb so it doesn't bump up very high and it comes down after a little bit, and then just hangs out at baseline level for hours until 5:30, 6 p.m., whenever it is you eat your final meal. And then you eat that, and you make sure it's low carb, and it bumps up a little bit, and it comes down and just hangs out at baseline level. That's the place you want your blood sugar to hang out, baseline level, because guess what? When you keep your blood sugar at baseline level most of the day, and when it does have that necessary bump from your meals, which it will, and that's fine, but then it's going to come down to baseline level fairly soon after that because you never drove it too high. Then it's going to hang out at baseline level again. When that becomes a big part of your day, your baseline level starts lowering. There's nothing static about a baseline level that it's like written in concrete and it can't move anyway. They can. That's why diabetics typically get worse, because they keep bumping up and then they don't let their glucose get down to baseline level. It starts going down a little ways, and before it can ever get to baseline, they have a snack, and bang, it goes back up, and it starts to go down. They have another snack, or they have a meal. Bang, it goes back up. It never has a chance to go to baseline level, and guess what? Baseline level starts to rise. But the reverse happens when you just have a couple of meals per day. And if you're going to have a dessert, a keto dessert, not a sugar dessert, by all means, but if you're going to have a keto dessert, make it a part of your meal. And you won't eat as much for the meal because you know that dessert is part of the meal. Or if it's a snack, if it's some, I don't know, keto chips or keto this or keto that, and it's not got many carbs, but you think of it more as a snack, or maybe a handful of peanuts, that we would consider peanuts more of a snack than part of a meal, or almonds or pecans or whatever your nut of choice is, avocado, I'm starting to say, but that's not what I wanted to say, macadamia nuts. But anyway, you make that part of your meal. So you got your meat, you've got your nuts, and maybe you've got a mug cake as a dessert. That's your meal. So you're good. And then you're done until the next time you have a meal. So this is smart, and this is what I normally would do. I think I've told you before, on Saturday night, I kind of break my rule a little bit. We have kind of a little Saturday night party, Benedict and I do, and we'll watch an old movie, and we'll have a snack a little bit later than the meal. So I do break that rule once a week, but normally I don't. So if I have something nice to eat, and I made one of these chocolate drizzled orange cheesecakes the other day. It's so good. My favorite dessert, really. But I eat it at the end of my meal, and therefore I don't eat such a large meal because I know that's going to be the final part of the meal. That keeps your window tight, and then you can drop down to baseline level until the next time around. Okay, well, that will do it for now. Hope you enjoyed this. If so, give it a thumbs up so that YouTube will recognize it's a good video and promote it to other diabetics. And if you haven't subscribed, why don't you do that? That way you'll be notified, especially if you click on that little bell icon. You'll be notified when we post new videos, and you can jump in there and not miss a single one. God bless. I'll see you again soon.